I want to go back to
no sir.
I want to go back to I know you talk about death certificate song, right?
Yes.
I want to go for that.
That's my number one.
In your mind, what makes that the number one gangster rap album of all time?
I think because it really examines so many angles of what was going on in society at the time, and Cube had so many brilliant stories that, you know, from the beginning of the album to the end of the album, it really examined, you know, Alive on Arrival was going after the healthcare system. You had Us, which was looking in the mirror at the self-created problems. You had Colorblind dealing with the problems of gangbanging. You had Steady Mob, which was just a day in the hood. You had My Summer Vacation, which I think is one of the best songs ever made about the migration of gangs and drugs. You had, I mean, it was just back to back. I Want to Kill Sam, talking about the government. It was
Horny Little Devil. Yeah, all kinds of shit.
My Summer Vacation.
Yeah. No,
which really examined the migration of the West Coast, you know, the West Coast gangsters into the
Midwest,
into the Midwest, and it actually spawned me being originally from the Midwest. As I remember, Crips and Bloods coming to Ohio, and it wasn't no hostile takeover stuff. Like, it was just they had the best prices. They had prices cats couldn't believe, and so cats, they came up there with the work. So you had cats, you saw local gangs like the Brick City Outlaws and the Dynamite Devils that had been around since the 60s started kind of making the transition and turning into blood gangs, turning into Crip gangs, just because they met somebody that was cool from California. And a lot of those cats that set up shop in the Midwest are still there to this day. They wound up having families, wound up just never going back.
Yeah.
If they didn't go to the feds.
Yeah, that was the intention, shit. Get up out of Cali, go somewhere, set up. Once you plant the roots, you like, fuck it. Nigga, this is home.
Yeah, because they had, you know, Cube does a great job on My Summer Vacation and really breaking down that reality and how the gang culture spread in a different way. And like you guys are saying, the different drugs and the different way that it was distributed. It was just, My Summer Vacation is just an amazing breakdown. And then, of course, there's a very heavy Nation of Islam influence on there, and he's talking about, you know, knowledge itself and historical facts and different things going on, that all of that added together, plus the production, plus Cube being such a brilliant writer, it just really has everything. And I think Cube, Bobcat, and Rashada as the boogeyman, and then Sir Jinx, all super underrated producers, and all of it coming together all at once, and Cube having a few guest appearances mainly on Colorblind. It was highlight.
Record was cracking.
It's incredible. It's phenomenal.
I think, you know, from the transition of coming off as the solo artist from the America's,
Most Wanted.
This record was more West Coast feel.
Much more.
America's Most Wanted was, you know, it had a few West Coast references and feel. You know, we had Once Upon a Time in the Projects, and you know, but I think with the death certificate, it really hit home on what you say, niggas, you know, West Coast rap and transition of what it was about. And like
absolutely.
You said, the songs just, you went through a motherfucking roller coaster ride.
Yeah.
And like you said, a lot of that around that time, you know, with being in the rap game and having to deal with the oppression of motherfuckers didn't want rap, and you know they was hating on it. You kind of, even though niggas was on some gang shit, you kind of was able to listen to those songs on that record. Because you was like, yeah, they don't want a nigga to eat. And they tripping because we saying we from here and niggas is wearing colors and, you know, bitching hoe shit. And, you know, just reality of what niggas was going through on the daily. But for some reason in that time, man, they really was against what we was pushing. So, you know, that's what that record represented to me, you know, especially the cover with the Uncle Sam toe tag. And
that was
like
crazy,
that.
too.
That was cracking.
Crazy.
That was like one of those classic covers, like like music to drive by and shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly, yeah.
You know, one of them classic covers that you always remember. Like, damn, them niggas did that. Like, damn, he did that. Damn, that nigga put a toe tag on
Uncle Sam.
Like,
I'm gonna tell you one thing that he did too. Even the sequence and the way the album was sequenced. Because if
the
you
life
notice,
side and the death side.
yeah, he had given up the nappy dugout that talked about a promiscuous girl, and then he had Look Who's Burning.
STDs.
Yeah, you know, right after that, and I think that's something that was seldom talked about in hip hop is AIDS.
Yeah.
During that, you know, nobody talked about AIDS. Nobody talked about venereal sexually transmitted diseases. Which,
Well, I think the difference is though with Cube, because if you remember Boogie Down Productions on the By All Means Necessary had a Jimmy song where they were talking about the J, the I, the M, the Jimmy hat. So people were talking about it, but the difference that Cube did and Cube always did is took it much more on a street profane level, whereas KRS-One was doing it more of a edutainment, whereas Cube was like street edutainment on a whole totally different level, much more graphic and explicit because people had been rapping about it, but when Cube did it in a way that I think resonated more with a lot of people, because as great as the Jimmy song is by Boogie Down Productions, a lot of people don't remember that song, even though it's a safe sex song, and even though it's on a great album, it's on a gold album. That's a gold album. It's on the My Philosophy album. It's on the I'm Still Number One album. So it's on the Stop the Violence album. Illegal Business album. Yeah.
Slipping.
That's one of the best albums too ever made.
My shit, man.
But I think that's when you have Giving Up the Nappy Dugout, you have Horny Little Devil, these type of songs when they're examining the sexual tension, racism, sexually transmitted diseases, but doing it from such a profound
hood nigga way. Like niggas gon' like you speaking on topics that usually motherfuckers would be like, man, what the fuck you talking about? But you putting it in a way to where niggas go, hell yeah.
Exactly.
I knew a nigga got burnt, and I knew a bitch who was giving
What's the matter, you burning?
Yeah, nigga. So he put in conscious shit in a way that the average motherfucker could relate to it. And you had to simplify shit sometime for motherfuckers.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Did you know anybody during that time period that caught AIDS or anything?
No.
And you know, and that was the thing. And what was scary about that is that it was impacting the African American community in disproportionate numbers.
Right.
Because nobody talked about it. Nobody talked about it. And I remember my cousin that caught I had a cousin, rest in peace, Tiff, that caught AIDS, right? And she caught it from her husband. He was a hemophiliac and he caught it from Kaiser. And I just remember thinking like, wow, that really kind of fucked me up a little bit, because at that point, you would hear little rumors about certain people in the neighborhood.
Right.
They had the package, but it would never get confirmed. Like, so it was almost one of them things that nobody want to talk about.
Right.
Like, nobody ever talked about it because I ain't gonna lie, it had me scared to death.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. It scared you away from some ass.
Hell yeah, it made me definitely go put a motherfucker.
Everyone say it definitely scared you away from some asses. It did. Like, nigga,
I think twice.
I think I'm gonna pass on that one right there. It's a little funky today. I think I'm gonna pass on it.
For sure, you definitely became more. You definitely
had to be more mindful.
Yeah, exactly. You had to be. You say you had to be more smellful. You know what I'm saying? Shit.
Gangster Chronicles, we gon' tell you how it goes.
If I lie, my nose will grow like Pinocchio. We gon' tell you the truth and nothing but the truth.
Gangster Chronicles, this is